What is going on? I want to thank you for coming by to Vape with a Viking. So today, brought to you by Suicide Mods, sent to me for the purpose of this review, is the Nightmare RDA. Now, this is a collaboration between Vapers Cloud and Suicide Mods. And as you know, if it's Vapers Cloud, I'm on it. So, but definitely shout out to them for sending me this for the purpose of this review and my enjoyment. Come on, that's what it's all about, right? So, 28 millimeter RDA, got an interesting kind of build deck going on, some vertical slotting for the airflow, and I got it on this iJoy Diamond. I've had this mod forever, and I picked it back up not too long ago because it does hold a lot of, the Vapers Cloud products, a lot of the bigger RDAs like the Asgard at 30. Now this at 28 because it does fit up to very nicely a 30 millimeter atomizer. And yeah, I picked it up not too long ago. I've been taking it to work now because it's really hard taking some of the big RDAs to work because the mods that they usually go on. I'm not taking those to work. It's just not going to happen. So I was like, this is a beater. And now it's like, I kind of use it at work and at home now. So, and for testing. Kind of interesting when you find an old gem like that. But before we get really into the meat and dive down on this interesting RDA, we're going to do, like we do every single time, Vikings Advocacy Minute. So basically, you know what's going on. If you're watching reviews, you know everybody has told you what's going on. So kind of what I would like to say about it is keep it going. I want to thank everybody for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that I hope you continue to do as well, and get other people to help us as well. Because here's the deal. When these states go into flavor ban and they pass them and everybody's just like, oh crap, we still continue strong. And the nice thing is a lot of those states are kind of pulling back. They're doing the pausing. They're bringing other judges in to get them to cease for now, and it's working. The good thing is guess what? Maybe that lets people know that we can be heard. We can make a difference. It just takes a lot of effort. But here's where that other caveat is we can't stop. Even if we get these states to fully just no longer temporary hold the ban, even if they're like, fine, we're done, sorry, you win, we're either going to get other states to do it as well that we haven't focused on, or they'll let us kind of calm down, cool down, get all lazy and complacent again, and then go right back at it. And I hate to say it, they'll be sneakier the second time around. So we just got to keep it on. So, but again, I want to thank everybody that has helped in this situation. We can't let them take it away. Just can't. It helps too many people. But anyway, we are done with that for now. Till the next review. So, but I am ready. Are you ready? Yeah, we're ready. Let's go ahead and drop the hammer on the Nightmare.
All right, so what I got for you today is by Suicide Mods. We are looking at the Nightmare RDA. So on the outside, you'll see a little kind of melting skull logo. You have side airflow, and it's vertical slits. You have a drip tip here. It is 810 compatible, goon style inner O-ring. And across the top, took me a little bit to read it and figure that out, but it is Nightmare all across the top there. And then on the bottom, you're going to have Suicide Mods. You will have your serial number, your negative post, your very hybrid safe protruding 510 gold-plated pin, and it does come pre-installed without the little squonk plug in there. This has kind of like the Asgard style where they do have the spare plugs, if that's what you want to call them, for the Squonk 510. They do have an extra set in here, and then you'll also have in the baggie 2 extra ones to go in there. So I did plug that up. I'm definitely not going to squonk that today, at least. And then on the inside of the pouch, you will have all of the accessories. You will have your Allen key, and that's the small one to go to putting that little fill plug in there. And then you do have the larger one for the actual 510 itself. You'll see it's a bigger diameter there. And then you will have another squonk pin. So for some reason something happens, I thought that was a really good idea with that, is something happens with one that's in there. They do have a replacement, and as you can see without taking it out, it's just a hollow 510 with that inner for that smaller little plug. Bunch of O-rings as well. And then you will have your 810 O-ring in there, and there we are. There are some deck grub screws. Here's another one of those fill hexes in there, and then a lower profile 810 drip tip. If you look, is much slower profile. I'll just take this guy out of here because I have not actually even looked at it. So there's the standard drip tip it comes with, and the one in the baggie will be this guy right here, which I might actually keep that on and makes it nice and low. Definitely a different in bore size. It's definitely lower and quite a bit wider. Nah, just more of my, probably just an optical illusion, but definitely very much lower, like almost half lower on that. So we'll give that a shot though, and then we'll take and put it on a stand here. Little bearded Viking custom Hulk stand here, and get into the top cap here. So on the top cap, you'll see just got a pretty simple little doming in there, and you do have a grooved section in there for the locking mechanism, and just a little lip for the base. Alright, so the build deck itself, you'll see double O-ring. It does have the side airflow in here, big huge cutouts there. Gold plated 510, gold plated deck posts. And you do have your peak insulator running on your positive side here, and then your airflow, you'll see a better shot there, is kind of almost, I would almost say Valhalla-esque, where it has the multiple small ones and then the main large one in there. And then you do have these little tabs right here. This is what catches that top cap to lock it so you can put it down or take it off of the mod. Pretty darn deep juice well in there, as you can see. So that's why for me squonking is like you know, it's kind of like the Asgards and all, and a lot of the you know, 28, this is 28, the Asgard is 30. A lot of the bigger RDAs, they have such a deep juice well, in my opinion, that it doesn't really need to be squonked. But of course you can if that's what you choose. But to kind of show you kind of how deep that guy is, it's pretty decently deep in there. So I want to say, I think somewhere in specs it was like 7 mils, something like that. 7 millimeter, maybe 6.5. And you do have just some flathead screws, and kind of simplistic in the deck design. The airflow is definitely something seen a little bit before, but different. So it's just different enough to be pretty original. The side airflow on the top cap, now that could be just my experience level. I haven't seen the vertical slits like that in the different groups, or the two different rows. You just take and put it on. Gets into that lock mechanism there, and then you can just adjust your airflow freely there. So what we're going to do is we'll take and put some coils and some cotton in there. And one of the things that I don't show very often, but I will definitely show again, if you have a coily tool. I know some people have asked, how do you know what to cut your coils at? If you have an actual original coily tool, they'll have not only the spots to cut your coils, but then these little measuring sides. I think there are a couple knockoffs out there that have these, but most of them it's just like something like that. This is actually the important part. So what you do is you take your posts and you just measure them. So like here, 5 doesn't fit really well, but then you go up to 6 and lots of gap play. Some people actually say they want that so you can adjust them a little bit better, but I'm going to go 5.5 just because there's a little bit of play, and these coils aren't going to have to do a lot of adjustment. They're going to basically go right in here and just be bent up probably a little bit and just kind of cradle right on top of that airflow, so I don't need a lot of adjustment room. But what we are going to put in them is some Coil Clout Series Aliens. Shout out to Coil Clout. If you go onto the site and put in Viking, you get 10% off his site. So we'll throw that in there. We'll of course be using some Holy Fiber because I will be putting this on when it's all said and done. The review is not up yet, but I do have the Saga mod from Vapers Cloud that will go on there. So Holy Fiber is really good in my opinion for mech use. And then we'll throw some shamrock cookie in there, get a little dessert in there. But all right, well, let's get this rolling.
All right, we are back up with the Nightmare. So Again, running on the iJoy Diamond, and when I'm running in it, I want to give a shout out to Jane over in the UK from Shy Tots. Got some raspberry cheesecake. So, UK juice manufacturer. Jane's really cool, super lady. Really cool, super lady. Super cool lady. However, uh, sent me just a tremendous amount of her line. So you'll start seeing reviews of those individually, and you'll also start seeing more devices with those juices being used. So far, I'll tell you right now, go check out our menu. She's got some good stuff, some really good stuff. Anyway, shout out to Jane. Let's get back into the RDA. So it is 28 millimeter. It does come in either stainless or matte black, which I love matte black. My cameras don't, but hey, I don't have a lot of stainless stuff either, so that would just matchy, all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, so dual vertical airflow. It does have 8 slots per side, as you saw. So, and it's got kind of like that little divider in the middle there, and that's way it can help you denote if you're only using half the airflow or not. You can cut them down each individual. Where I've experienced it is I either do full open or one side on each side cut off. Don't really play around with the individual slots per se. I guess I'm not that particular. Or you could almost say, I'm easy. No, you can't say that. Oh, you can, but anyway. So look around the internet. Like I said, since I did get this sent to me by Suicide and Vapers Cloud, I did not purchase it. But for you, it's $60 out there is pretty much where I'm finding it. Anywhere you can go. So we'll go over pros and cons. One of my biggest pros is everybody knows I'm a big Vapers Cloud fan anyway. And I really love the Asgards and really love the Valhalla 38 millimeter RDA. The deck itself and just kind of how everything looks on the inside at first impressions, and well, I've been using it for a while now and still not even a first impression. It just really reminds me of a smaller modified Valhalla. Like I was even calling it on the last live with the Rising Vapers, the mini Valhalla. Now, it's not 100%. I mean, there's no way. I mean, you could definitely see the differences, but it's still got some things to it that just really reminds me of it. But that's also kind of a good thing. So it's a very familiar kind of build deck, very familiar design. I definitely like the pro of the swoop essentially, or that cradle airflow for the coils. I think that just makes an amazing amount of flavor for it. I did notice I tried to put the coils to begin with as close to that deck swoop out, whatever you want to call that, the dip, as close to it as possible. I was getting good flavor, but actually raising the coils up above that a little bit more actually enhanced it. I think getting too close to that airflow is just going to actually start smothering the flavor. So, not too high, not too low. The way I pretty much have it here is you can kind of see black deck. Yeah, that's not going to work. Way to go, dude. There we go. They're just basically hovering right above the deck. So you could almost like build it so that it's touching and then just take your coil rod and just pull up just enough that you could get like a pair of your tweezers right under there. So that, I would say, that was the perfect placement. So, but pro for, of course, build quality, pro for flavor production, even the turn to stop for the adjustment of the cap for the AFC is nice and smooth, but it doesn't just freely spin. Drip tip, of course, those are always pretty comfortable on the bigger ones when they just kind of have that nice bevel to it. It looks really clean. Some people might not like, and this is subjective, the design that's on there, especially on the matte black, is just really kind of hard to see what it is. I've actually had a couple people ask me, what is their logo or what's on the side of the Nightmare? I don't understand what it is. and it's their melting skull logo. So, but even in person, it's still kind of hard to see. So maybe that's a subjective con for aesthetics. I don't know. I don't have really a lot of cons. No, I mean, the juice well's sufficient. I know some people, if you're kind of a heavy dripper or squonker, which I tend to be at times, you can. I wouldn't say it's easy to over squonk or over drip, but it's not like resistant by any means. Another pro, kind of like with Vapor Cloud stuff, they have those plug grub screws, a couple of them in the bottom of the deck. That is so awesome. And I don't have to worry about carrying a little bag around or losing that little bag. It's right there on the device. Yeah, so literally some aesthetics as a con. Not even really a con for me, but it could be for you. But yeah, I've used it in series, and now I just have some K-Coil's Gunger aliens, the 6-core aliens in there. Running it at 95 watts right now and halfway closed. Ohming in at like a 1-2. Yeah. And I mean, I get the raspberry, I get that cream from the cheesecake, and then that kind of bite of the cheesecake. And I mean, the only thing I'll get out of the juice is crust. And for a good size RDA, that's pretty awesome to pick up that many flavors. So, yeah. If you're looking for a 28 because you already have a 30 millimeter Asgard, or you don't want to go up to a 30 millimeter, definitely go grab a Nightmare. You're going to get some really good flavor, pretty easy to build, and just a lot of features. I mean, if you don't mind that etch on the outside, but even if you do mind it because you don't know what it is, I just told you what it is. So there you go. Your con's done. Go buy it. But I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming to Vape with a Viking. And I'll check you later.